Good morning, Love Wrestling. It is Thursday, December 5th. You see my man Drew. You see me. You know what that means. It's another edition of Firmly Love Wrestling. On Thursdays, we talk AEW. So it is Firmly AEW this morning. Drew, first and foremost, I didn't do this the other day, and I ended up talking for like fucking 8 straight minutes. Oh, I swore. I ended up talking for like 8 straight minutes. Dang it. Dang it. You try to be a nice guy. You try to be a nice guy. And I just swore a minute. That was less than a minute and a half in. Wow. Anyway, sorry, Spencer.
And he's even here too.
I was trying to be polite. I'm trying to be polite, more polite than usual. He's in there, first chat, and I swear right in front of him like a jerk. Unbelievable. Wow. Oh, wow. That might be the quickest one ever, even for me. That was just like, I didn't even think of, obviously.
That was like, what was that, a minute, 20 seconds?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But what I was trying to say is, how are you today, Drew? I'm going black on my cold brew today. I went black on my cold brew today. That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm that laugh helped. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, not that my day's been necessarily bad, but
yeah. Well, I mean, it's only 10 a.m. on the East Coast. Did you get snow today? I woke up to snow out there.
No.
I know you live in New York City, so like for snow to like accumulate is a little bit more than where I live. But like today it was only a little. It was like an inch or two, but we had technically our first real snowfall of the year overnight.
On Tuesday morning, before we started our show, I take my dad to get a procedure done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was why we had to end our show early.
A little earlier, yes.
And it was a light flurry while we were driving there.
Okay.
Kind of nice.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's December. It's that time of year. I already watched my first Christmas movie. Did that over the weekend on Sunday night.
Oh, nice. What'd you watch?
Listen. So I usually have a tradition, right? This was a tradition of mine I haven't done it recently because I'm old now, but a tradition of mine growing up and even in through my 20s was on Thanksgiving night, we would watch The Wizard of Oz. That was like our Thanksgiving night movie. It was usually on TBS or TNT, one of those channels. We would watch that. And then the next day I'm talking when I was younger. Like I didn't have I was young. The Friday after Thanksgiving was the day that the family would go get the Christmas tree. We'd put it up. And then, back in the day, I was told you have to wait like 24 hours when it's in the water for it to kind of 24 to 48 hours.
Oh, you were a real tree family.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I don't do that fake tree nonsense. But we would do that. And then that Saturday or Sunday, we would decorate the tree. And then the first Christmas movie we always watched was Home Alone. Home Alone was the first one. Not necessarily. I mean, it's up there. It's, to me, upper echelon 1 or 1A Christmas movie, 2 at best, I think. But there's a lot of great Christmas movies. So it's not necessarily my favorite one. It's not necessarily the only one I have to watch. It's not anything like that. It's just Home Alone was always the first one we always watched because it was funny and it's the kid and it's just a great movie. Just a great movie. It's like an all-time classic, never will get old. The first 2, really. The second one's still good, but the first one is it's just perfect. It's just a perfect movie. So it's one of those things where that's kind of How we did. So I watched Home Alone over the weekend. I'm sure I'll be checking the boxes of all the other ones and things like that. Sunday
Yeah, I
Center, that is
usually have
allowed.
like
I'm not going to get into that heated debate that's become a real strong debate the last decade for some reason. Who gives a shit? But
yeah, I
it's not.
don't care.
It's not a Christmas movie. But anyway, I digress. But
I won't say that it's not a
it's a
Christmas
movie that
movie,
takes place during Christmas, but it is
right?
not a Christmas movie.
Which to some people just classifies it as a Christmas movie. I don't really understand why, but
Can you hear?
what?
Yeah, you
What's
can
wrong?
hear me, right? I don't know. It just said my thing. I got a message that said my thing was muted for a second, and I was like, I didn't mute myself.
Oh,
Oh, this is a real question, though. This is a real question. Is The Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween movie or is it a Christmas
I
movie?
I do not know. I have never.
Excuse me. Don't say what you're about to say. Don't even tell me. I'll think of you differently as a human.
No, I did see
Uh
it
you've seen it.
like one time
No,
only,
you need to
and a long time ago.
you need to revisit it. What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? You got to revisit it. You got to revisit it. That is on the list of movies I will watch this month. That is on the list. I think personally, I agree with Sunday Sinner. I think the answer is yes. I think it is both. I think it is both a Halloween movie and Christmas movie. So I
Okay.
think you can watch it for either of the seasons because I think it is technically. You want to talk about another perfect movie? Nightmare Before Christmas. That's pretty up there.
I will have to revisit it. I didn't
Oh,
even really remember it.
it's
So,
you'll appreciate it more now. It's like a musical kind of like there's music. You would appreciate it more now. I guarantee it.
yeah, but like
Anyway,
Home Alone is a classic Christmas movie. Like I try to get. I am a person who can rewatch
yeah.
something every year. It doesn't
Oh yeah.
bother me at all.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
like
yeah.
Home Alone, The Grinch,
Yeah. There's
Elf.
those. Yeah, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the claymation one with the elf and the Abominable
Oh wow.
Snowman. Like that's an all-time. I watch that every year. Charlie Brown's Christmas. Gotta watch it. The Frosty the Snowman cartoon, the original one. Gotta watch it.
Oh, I
Those
haven't
are.
seen all of those in a while.
Yeah, I at least watch the Rudolph one every year. And I prefer I like Jim Carrey's Grinch. That's a good one. The original cartoon Grinch is the Grinch that you should be watching on Christmas. And I know they even made a newer Grinch movie with Cumberbatch and it was animated and a couple years
Did?
ago. Yeah, I haven't seen
I
it,
don't
but they
remember
made
that.
it. They made a newer Grinch animated cartoon movie like within the last 5 or 6 years, and Cumberbatch was the voice of the Grinch, who I like Cumberbatch as an actor. Jim Carrey was excellent. I love that Grinch movie. It's a great movie. The cartoon Grinch. All right. That's the Grinch. All right.
I won't disagree.
You're showing your kids for the first time. You don't show them the Jim Carrey Grinch. You show them that second. You show them the cartoon Grinch. That's the Grinch. All right. Don't get me started.
Turner, the Home Alone 3 is not the same family as Home Alone 1 and 2.
No, it's a completely different kid.
Yeah, like
that kid ended up being like a decent, like he had like a 2-year run when he was like the it actor of the children. Yeah, he was in like the oh god, what was he in?
I
He was
don't
in like
remember
3 or 4
anything else he did.
movies. Yeah. That's a good way to put it, Spencer, is that all Grinch movies are good, but they are not created equal. They're just not. And in the ranking, the original cartoon that's where we're at. And then you get the longer form, like, Elf is a popular one. A lot of people love Elf.
I love that.
I like Elf. Elf's a great movie. It's not as high as for me as others. But Elf is really good. Christmas Vacation, obviously, is a classic. And then you got the real classics like It's a Wonderful Life and like the, Christmas Story and things of that nature and stuff like that. So there's a whole gamut of.
And but you cannot.
I know I forgot some. Yeah, Scrooge is great. Scrooge is terrific. I mean, one of my personal favorites is A Muppets Christmas Carol. Every year I watch it. I watch The Muppets Christmas Carol every year. Love The Muppets. That's a classic. Sunday Sunday. I'm not going to agree with you. I'm not going to agree with you there.
He's just trying to get a rise out of people.
He is. I'm not going to
That's his only purpose in this
Have you seen Anchorman or Talladega Nights? Step Brothers.
Excellent movies.
Don't get me wrong. Every actor like that makes duds. Adam Sandler's been making duds for a decade. You know what I mean? And I love Adam Sandler. I love him. One of my all-time favorites, but he's been making duds for a decade. Like everybody makes bad movies, but like when you look at the history of things like Anchorman, Will Ferrell slant, Anchorman, Talladega Nights, Old School, I could keep Step Brothers. Like, these are classic, funniest of the funniest movies ever made type stuff. And like, so I I know he's not everybody's cup of tea, but I ain't going to be accepting Will Ferrell slander in my chat. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but not in my chat. So, anyway, I digress. That was good. Nice little 10 minutes about Christmas movies. Good stuff.
Yeah.
You got to break
Before
it up.
We get into, negativity.
You got to break it up every so often. Well, one thing I was not negative about, Drew, is last night's episode of Dynamite ruled. That was a great episode of Dynamite. I liked it. Oh, Love Actually is on that list, Joe. Love Actually, I watch every year.
Oh, yep. I haven't watched that one in a while.
Love Actually is another one I watch every year. Fantastic. Corny and like over-the-top romantic at times, if you're into that.
So but Love Actually, so weird
the cast is incredible. That everybody's
Rick Grimes in that movie.
Yeah.
So weird to see Rick
But
Grimes
everybody's in there.
Movie.
Alan Rickman, you got Snape in there. You got Rick Grimes. You got Chiwetel Ejiofor. You got a young Keira Knightley. You got the guy that did the King's Speech. What's his name? Come on. He won it. Colin Firth. He's in there. That movie is loaded with the cast.
Hugh Grant is in there.
Hugh Grant's in there. Yeah. Everybody's in that movie. Every like famous, besides one
British actor.
Yeah. Every famous British actor is like almost in that movie. But anyway, the crowd was hot. And I posted this, and I wasn't the only one, but it seemed like the production last night for Dynamite was up a notch. Like, I felt like the lighting was better. You could hear the crowd really well again. That crowd was hot. It felt like it had, I saw SRS say, he was like, oh, that felt like the energy of an old Dynamite or something along those lines. And I was like, yeah, it kind of felt that way. I don't know if they put more mics in places where they could hear the crowd better. The lighting was definitely a lot better. It was a lot brighter in that arena. The crowd sounded excellent last night.
It definitely was a better crowd. It was a better crowd than Dynamites that we've been used to lately.
Yeah. And it's not like they were anywhere. They were in a place called Fisher, Indiana. I never even heard of that place. So it's not like they were in like New York or Chicago. Like, they were in Fisher, Indiana. And the crowd was like, Joe, I give credit to that too. Justin, I'm right with you. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about
I don't want to reveal my true feelings about it, just so that this way we keep the positivity here.
It's fair. It's fair. But the Continental Classic is back. I believe the Continental Classic has put a jolt into things. Big time. We normally kind of gloss over Collision and we really just focus on Dynamite. But there were some Continental Classic matches on Collision.
Apparently, we need to be watching Rampage now, too.
Yeah, they're throwing one on Rampage, huh?
There's like 2 of them on Rampage.
Yeah, what's that about? There was also a report yesterday that Rampage is leaving. Like, Rampage is going bye-bye. I saw that as well.
Oh, it's definitely happening.
Well, yeah, I know, but like people were actually like talking about it. Sandy, I know, bro. I'm still not over it. I'm still not over it. Let me tell you. Still not over it. You got new music coming in with the facts about Fisher, Indiana. Fall Creek and Delaware Townships. There you go. Wow. 98,000 people there.
And a good 3,000 or 4,000 of them were at AEW Dynamite last night.
Committed. Yeah, that's probably it, Sinner. Or they're trying to get some momentum if they change it to a different show or something, like a different name.
Sinner and I actually were the ones that realized that Rampage was truly going to be gone like a couple weeks ago. Because if you notice on AEW Ticks, when you're going to buy tickets and it says what show it is, when there's a Rampage taping, it'll say Dynamite /Rampage or Collision/Rampage.
Mm-hmm.
After the shows in Hammerstein in a couple weeks, no more /Rampage on anything going forward.
Yeah. Very bizarre. Yeah, we got Spencer saying they're trying to sell Rampage or probably just make Chris Jericho change. Well, yeah. Listen. One thing I will say is Chris Jericho was on. Yeah, it should be on YouTube, Sandy. Wait, you're talking like Firmly, like the Firmly, like oh no, the NXT watch along. Yeah, if you go to my Twitch, it'll be on the video on demands there. If you go to my Twitch, JPJ Loves Gaming, you can go there. Everyone should go there. Not right now. You should watch me and Drew, but you should go to JPJ Loves Gaming and watch it. Yeah, you can watch everything there. I don't, Justin. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if they're just ditching it or they're making it something else or whatever.
If they want to make it, my suggestion is that Rampage becomes a Ring of Honor show.
I think that's what they. I think that's what they should do. I think that's what
has a nice ring to it. It's got a good, But I mean, I don't know. I don't run this company. Thank God.
Yeah.
So, it's yeah. Listen. I had a post yesterday on the Twitter machine.
Yep.
I'm just not feeling it right now. It's not. I'm watching it. There's people on it I genuinely like, but it's even the C2 is not like
really. This is very odd. This is very odd because you were high on AEW a couple months ago when I thought this shit sucked, and now I think AEW is getting good again, and you're off. Very bizarre.
Yeah, I know. It's
very
like
bizarre.
we haven't been in sync lately.
No, to me, the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I don't think it's just the C2. I think they're coming off a pretty good pay-per-view. But especially last night with the Moxley stuff, I thought the Moxley stuff went up a notch last night with how they. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's that. I don't know what's going on, but I think AEW has been better the last 2 to 3 weeks than it has been the majority of this whole year. But Drew seems to be jumping ship. He seems to be thinking the other way. I think AEW. I think during the summer, AEW was just awful. Not awful. That's strong. But I think it was tough to watch for me. I was like, this is just the same old bullshit. And I feel like the last month, it's been better. Like it's been different. And yeah. But either way,
I can't even pinpoint a specific thing that I know. Well, I mean, I can pinpoint some. Well, okay. Well, I'll give you a perfect example. Where are the champions?
What do you mean? Moxley was on the show last night.
It's about not just the champion being on the show, but it is nice to see a title once in a while. Yeah,
the fact that they're hiding the AEW title in a briefcase
and have been doing it for over a month.
Yeah, we just don't see your heavyweight title, which is again a very pretty looking belt. But and I get it, it's part of the story, but it's very bizarre how we're not, he's the world champion of your company, and his whole gimmick is he doesn't want the company to be exist, kind of. What it feels like. You know what I mean? So I understand the story of it, but it's you're going on a month now or a little bit over a month now where we haven't seen the belt physically. No, there's no way. That title's huge. There's no way that title's actually in that briefcase. That would never fit in that briefcase.
Yeah.
No way.
But last night,
I love the stuff with it last night though.
The tag titles or the champions weren't on the show.
Not on the show, no.
The TNT champion, not on the show. The international champion, not on the show.
No.
Technically, the continental champion was not on the show. The title was on the show, but the champion was not on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the title is on the show and the champion isn't on the show, then we get the reverse with the Death Riders, where the champions are on the show and the titles are not on the show.
Mm. Well, it at least seems like when it's a Continental Classic type of night, which this is what it's going to be, the focus is on the Continental Classic. That's what we're doing. Because last night, the majority of the matches that we saw were, we had a couple Continental Classic ones, and it's those are, I don't know.
It's
I don't know
weird
why.
Because
we also have a lot of champions in. I think the reason why we didn't see Daniel Garcia last night is because he's in the Continental Classic. So the only time we're gonna see the Daniel Garcia is when he has Continental Classic matches. Yes, this was an unfortunate thing that happened.
Yeah.
On
Juice
Collision,
out is unfortunate.
Yeah, on Collision, Will Ospreay and Juice Robinson had their not first round, I guess, but they had their first match in the Continental Classic, and they finished the match. But it was later found out that Juice Robinson broke his leg in that match, so he had to be removed from the Continental Classic, and he has been replaced with Commander. So
I'm happy about that.
I am too. But I think Commander can now easily slide into the role of he's going to lose every match he's in. But I think
better than people
better
were
than
complaining
Juice.
about
Better
that.
than Juice. Better than Juice.
But people were complaining that Buddy wasn't put in it as a result because he's the one that won the match at Full Gear.
Yeah, that's fair.
Said, hello, you want Buddy taking all those losses?
Commander is that type of guy that is okay to take those type of losses. Right. I heard it was his leg. It was his leg. Yeah. Broken leg. So that match happened. It was a good match, even though obviously there was an injury in it, but that was a decent match. Kyle Fletcher and Beast Mortos fought on Collision. That was a good one.
A good one. I just ate that one up.
Yep. And good Fletcher got the victory there. And then the main event of Collision, you need to go out of your way. You need to go out of your way to see this main event because Daniel Garcia and Okada had a good one. They had a fantastic main event on Collision. Really, really good. Really, really good.
Unfortunately, they put that Collision up against Survivor Series.
Well, they did it earlier. No, it was on at 4 p.m. They did it early. It was an early Collision.
Yeah, it wasn't like what did a real show. Yeah. It didn't even feel like a real show.
Well, then
earlier than it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And nobody really cared.
Yeah. Well, I think they tried to get ahead of it and they were like, well, Survivor Series starts, so we might as well go. If we go live at 4, it'll be over at 6 when Survivor Series actually starts.
I mean, almost nobody watched it.
So. It was a record low. It was a record low.
And listen, I say that as somebody that doesn't care about ratings. But
yeah.
You have 144,000 people watching a show that's supposed to be a second, like a SmackDown to a Raw.
Yeah. It's not great. It's not great. I also feel like, and look, WWE's done this before in the past too, but it's one thing if you're moving Rampage, and again, Rampage is about to go bye-bye. But it's one thing if you move Rampage around and you change the times on Rampage. If it's one of your 2 core shows, you can't move it.
I'm on the mindset that Collision shouldn't even be on Saturday night anymore. I think
Saturday night is a dead night. It's a dead night for TV. So just being it on, if you're getting rid of Rampage, you should move Collision to Fridays at the very least. Although SmackDown's on Friday, so you probably don't want to go against fucking SmackDown. But if Rampage is going away, whether you're making a new show or not, Collision should be moved off Saturdays because it's just Saturday nights are tough, dude. It's a night that people go out. There's other big sporting events. There's other regular things happening. It's just a tough night. And especially if you're going to be moving it around because the channel has a big game on, or there's a wrestling pay-per-view from a bigger company or another company. And you're like, we don't want to go against it. So let's move it till 4 p.m. If I'm a fan of your company and I know your show is on at 8 p.m. on Saturdays, and then 1 week it's on at 6, 1 week it's on at 4 p.m., 1 week it's, this or that. It's that's not, you got to be consistent. And I know some of that is out of their hands, but they got to figure that out. But anyway, Okada and Daniel Garcia wrestled to a draw in that main event on Collision. So those are the results of the Continental Classic matches on Collision.
They only got 1 point, right?
They got 1 point for a draw. Yeah. So Kyle Fletcher got a victory over Beast Mortos. Will Ospreay got a victory over Juice, who's now out of the tournament due to injury. And Okada and Daniel Garcia each got 1 point via draw. So that was the results of Collision. Now we're going to kind of make our focus on what we normally do, and that is Dynamite. Like we said at the beginning, hot crowd for this one. Hot crowd for this one.
I
Fisher
want to
Indiana
address
showed
really
up
quickly. So Mike was asking, why does AEW feel the need to pump in CEO chants for Mercedes?
Yeah.
And Justin's right. It isn't. Yeah. It's not pumped in. It's in the song.
It's in the song.
However, it's really, people don't care about it though. That's kind of just the thing. Nobody cares about the CEO thing. It's a WWE gimmick. It doesn't fit in AEW. She should just be a badass heel, and having to literally say hello to your CEO every single time she's on camera. I don't care. So that's just the thing. So
fair
enough. WWE thing, a catchphrase and a thing. Orange Cassidy. He doesn't need a catchphrase. It's perfect. I love that. We don't have to do every single time she gets on TV. That's just, she has to interrupt Renee or whoever's like, let's let like just to do the same shtick every single time. It's like, whatever. I don't care about that. Sorry to go on a rant about that, but it's just
that's fine. I don't care.
It's so stupid. I don't care about CEO anymore. Just be the badass heel that you are. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care either way. It's a character. It's wrestling. There's characters.
And speaking of, like what I was saying earlier, the only champions and their title pairings that were on the show together were the women's champions.
Yeah,
and
which I didn't mind.
Which is fine. I mean, the direction of them, one of them I'm fine with. The other one is, all right. But that would be the TBS one. But not that I don't hate Anna Jay at all.
No, they're propping her up to be like moving her up in the women's hierarchy of things. It seems they're giving her. She had the match with Mariah May. It seems like she's next in line for Mercedes, clearly. So they're kind of propping her up to be kind of a main player in the women's division, which I don't have a problem with. You need fresh faces because you need fresh faces. It can't be Statlander. It can't, like, as much as I love Willow and Statlander, it can't just be them. They can't be the only two challengers in the division. Like, there needs to, Tony Storm's gone for now. Like, there needs to be other challengers in your women's division. So, like, moving up somebody like an Anna Jay, who's been there for a while and has noticeably got better over the years. Like,
I have an interesting question.
Yeah.
So the Death Riders are all about, taking over the company and shit. Why isn't Marina Shafir trying to go for the women's title?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know. It feels to me that, like, she's just not, I don't get the vibe that she's going to be wrestling at all. She's just going to be, I don't get that vibe at all, that all of a sudden we're going to see, Marina Shafir's having a match, right? Like, I think she's just kind of, she's the muscle. It feels like she's the muscle of the group, which is cool. I like the women of the group being,
that's a great
badass muscle of it. I love that. But it doesn't feel like she's going to do more than that currently. Like, my thing would be like, you have the trios champs in the group, right? Moxley's the world champ. Why wouldn't Shafir be going for one of the women's titles? So the whole group has gold that they wouldn't be showing because they're anti-AEW. But they would all be like, we're champs. You know what I mean? I don't know. But all right. The show opened last night. Oh, baby. And it opened with a good one. It was Kyle Fletcher, Shelton Benjamin in a Blue League match in the Continental Classic. Both these gentlemen were coming in with 3 points. They had victories in their first matches. And boy, oh boy, this match was a good one, as you would expect. Let me tell you, Shelton Benjamin, this guy, he has been so good since, is everything okay? Are we paying attention? I'm just kidding. Is that something going on? You getting broken into?
I just got like a huge gust of wind just hit me.
Oh, did it shake the whole, like one of those ones that shakes the whole apartment?
It's like there must be like some crazy shit going on outside.
Well, maybe you're getting that snow. Snow.
You continue talking. I'm going to go look.
Yeah. But so Shelton Benjamin, Kyle Fletcher, They started off the night. My thing with Shelton Benjamin, right, is this.
By the way, if you couldn't tell, there's literally a window behind.
Is there a window right there?
This is a curtain.
Unbelievable curtain. That's a huge ass curtain. How big is that window? How big is that window? That's a huge ass curtain. They have done this.
I have it stretched out so that this way it covers everything. So it's not, the window isn't that huge.
That's a big ass curtain. That looks like a curtain that should be like on a high school play. You know what I mean? Like that long ass. That's what it looks like. But anyway, I think they've knocked it out of the park, Drew, with this Shelton Benjamin since he's been there. The way that they brought him in, they separated him from Lashley, even though they knew it was going to be in the group. They separated him. They gave him enough time to shine where he looks like they made him a star in the company before the big star of the group showed up. And it's been a breath of fresh air. Like Shelton Benjamin is so good. He still might be as good as he ever was. And the fact that he's getting this, it's incredible. Yeah. And the fact that he's getting this, like, almost like obviously they're both heels, right? In this match, but Shelton Benjamin was the babyface in this match. That crowd was rooting 100% for Shelton Benjamin.
Very much so.
And it was just like, you're watching it and you're like, Shelton Benjamin's been around for 15, 20 years. Like, he's been around forever. And he might be
since like mid 2000s.
Yeah. Like he's been around forever. But the crowd is eating him up. Like he's getting this, I don't even want to say last run, but like he's getting this run here so far into his career. And it feels like he's just getting his flat. Like everyone's just throwing we love you, man. You've been good for so long. Here's your flowers type stuff.
It's genuinely a great thing to see.
It's unbelievable.
I'm just so, not that he wasn't wrestling when he was in WWE, but it wasn't like this.
No, like they're letting him do what he does. And he's going out there with guys half his age in Kyle Fletcher, and he's putting on these no pun intended, these dynamite matches. Like this match was a banger, dude. And Kyle Fletcher, the cheating bastard, he gets the pinfall victory. He holds the ropes. I think we might revisit this. I could see those two guys maybe sneaking into the semifinals in the Blue League. I think this might be a match that we revisit at some point. But it was, they changed it this year, right? Like the semifinals is blue versus yellow now, right? Did they change that? Wasn't that one of the
always that?
No, it was that's the finals is blue versus yellow. But they changed it this year that like the top guy in the yellow is fighting the second guy in the blue and the top guy in the, didn't they change it this year? It's like a small difference. They're going to be fighting each other in the semis.
I'm going to have to
watch the product, Drew. We talk about it. Watch the product.
I watch it. I just
pay attention when you watch to the product. It's not like we talk about it for 2 hours every week. Jesus Christ. Anyway, but Kyle Fletcher gets the victory by putting his hands on the rope. So he now is leading the Blue League with 6 points. He has 6 points. He's leading the Blue League. Very good opening matchup between Benjamin and Fletcher. I would go out of your way to see it if you haven't seen it. It was a good one. Yes, I knew that. I know they're going to be wrestling twice at World's End, which I love. That gives me a feel of like, back in the day, the original King of the Rings, you had to wrestle 2 or 3 times in one night. It was a tournament and you had to wrestle multiple times in one night. I love how at World's End, they're going to have to wrestle at least twice to win it. The semifinals and the finals. I like that a lot. After this match, though, Hook makes his way to the ring. He calls out Nick Wayne. He says he'd rather fight Nick, and then he, calls out Christian Cage. He says, I'd rather fight Christian Cage in New York and leave him in worse condition than he left my dad Taz in. That's probably, I think that's a safe bet. I think that would be one of the safe bets. It seems to me that they would be building to that rematch in the finals.
I'm about 98% sure that that's what's happening.
Yeah, that seems to me
also last night.
Yeah,
seems like that's exactly what's happening. Yeah.
But I also think Asian Joe has a point too, is he can't see Okada not being in the finals. So I agree. I think that's where, because you look at the brackets, right, and you're like, oh, these are pretty loaded. But then you see it and you're like, oh, Ospreay and Fletcher, they had the one match. That's where they're going to go. But the way that they're doing it now, that could be a semifinal match. You know what I mean? Like that could be a semifinal match where we get, because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, it's going to be Ospreay and Okada. They're gonna run that back from New Japan and AEW.
It's possible, but
Okada's going to be in the Final Four. When we go to World's End, the Final Four is going to be Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, Okada, maybe Brody King. I don't know. Insert who the fourth guy is. I don't know. But like those three, I'm not a gambler man all the time, but I would probably put money down that those three are three of the four semifinalists. Okada, Will Ospreay, and Kyle Fletcher. The fourth one, could it be Claudio? Could it be Brody King? Could it be Darby? It's going to be whatever. You know what I mean? But those are the
and Scott. Next week is Fletcher.
Oh, baby.
That's going to be.
Baby. Woo. And then they're already announcing matches for 2 weeks from now, because we're going to get into the next week is Winter is Coming, and then in 2 weeks is the Holiday Bash. And they announced in 2 weeks we're getting that Darby Allin. Jesus Christ. It's a match I've never seen before. Will Ospreay and Darby Allin.
Well, yeah.
That's going to be a good one.
That's going
to be a good one. Yeah, that's one of the ones when I saw it right away, I'm like, ooh, Will and Darby. Okay. Yeah, so I'm sorry. Hook is out there. He calls out Nick Wayne. He says he wants to leave Christian in the streets of New York in worse condition than Christian left his dad in. But he says, I'm ready to fight Nick Wayne right now. Get out here. Christian and Mama Wayne come out. And as they come out and Hook's attention is on them, Nick Wayne attacks Hook from behind with Kip Sabian. And Hook is very much outnumbered. And they basically concerto Hook's hand. So they break his left hand, or they, whatever. I think it was, but they concerto his hand, and Hook nobody came out to help Hook. No, not one person. There's three dudes in there with two chairs. What the hell? But anyway, so that happened. So they're continuing this Hook versus Christian patriarchy thing. Did he ever really have momentum? Are we being honest? If we're being honest. I don't dislike Hook.
I will say, I honestly think that him retiring the FTW title gave him some momentum.
That's fair. I thought the way they did it was the way they should have done it that way. Yeah.
Immediately taken away. Right after. Immediately. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Samoa
Joe. Because Samoa Joe and Hook were doing that thing. I figured that Joe would be the one that would come help him here. Not necessarily last night, but in this story.
Yeah,
it feels like Joe kind of, is he still filming? He can't be.
I thought he finished that.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's been filming Twisted Metal like all year. He left in like March or some stuff. Like he's been gone a while. So I don't really know, but I mean, obviously, I would love Samoa Joe to return because I love Samoa Joe. But yeah,
missing a lot of like people that are just the people that you want to watch every week.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe and the Elite. Hopefully Kenny Omega gets back soon, and Bryan Danielson's going to be out for a while longer, and it's like Adam Copeland is still out. There's all these people that haven't been on the show in a while, and it's like, man, there's like a little bit of a void. I'm not gonna lie, it feels like there's just a little bit of a void of all of these top stars that were semi-fixtures to regularly weekly television people, and they're just not there.
Yeah. I mean, you got to assume. Well, Kenny Omega is coming back at some point soon.
Yeah,
you would think he's coming back in New Japan. They're already working at that, so he'll be back. I don't really know. I don't know if the Bucks are just chilling, waiting for him to come. I don't really know what's going on. But we then get the
Bucks they're doing something. Probably it's going to be Will and Okada because Will win. And that'll be the last new elite without the title, and then that's when they'll probably get involved with the Death Riders somehow.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. We then get that backstage segment with Mercedes Moné that you talked about. She was asked, well, we find out from Renee that after last week's Dynamite, Camille was attacked. And so Renee asked Mercedes Moné if she knew anything about that, or if she had any.
But first, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Say hello to your CEO.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about that as much as you do. I'm not that upset about that as much as you do. It's pro wrestling, man. There's been gimmicks from the beginning of time in every company. Why are we upset about this?
It's just boring.
Hangman came out for a year and said cowboy shit. Why weren't we upset at that? That's fucking hokey bullshit.
He didn't say cowboy shit.
Yes, he did.
Cowboy shit.
Yes, but he said it a lot at the beginning as well. Now, I love Hangman. He's my favorite wrestler in the world, but that's a hokey, you know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? You know? I just, MJF, I'm better than you and you know it. Nobody has a problem with that one. Says it every damn time. Nobody has a problem with that.
He hasn't been saying it that much lately.
But I'm saying, like, how are we upset?
I understand what you're saying.
How are we upset about this, but we're not upset about other times they do it? Come on.
I mean, I didn't really care about the "I'm better than you" thing that much either.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't really care about this, but I mean, you get, I don't, again, I feel like Mercedes Moné gets a lot of bullshit that she doesn't deserve, just because of who she is. So I know you're not that. I know you're not that type of guy, but it's one of those things where I'm like, well, why do we hate this? But there's other people. Yeah, exactly. That's probably why you hate it, because you're not fully taking it in. See, now you probably feel better, and now you probably understand the CEO thing.
Actually, I feel a little better. Yeah,
exactly. I think if you're not experiencing it the way you're supposed to experience it, it just doesn't hit. So she says she has nothing to do with Camille, and that she was offended that she was even asked about it. She's not liable about it. Doesn't have any concerns with her. She says she's more concerned about Anna Jay sticking her nose where it doesn't belong. Then we have another backstage segment with the Hurt Syndicate. And MVP is reaming Shelton Benjamin out, saying, hey, I love you. I love your talent, but we don't lose. Even though Kyle Fletcher cheated to win, so it's not like he lost fairly. But MVP is yelling, we don't lose. That's not what we're about. What do we do? And Benjamin's like, we hurt people. That's right. We hurt people. Why didn't you hurt that guy? Blah, blah. And MVP is just pissed. And he walks off. And then Bobby Lashley says something to Shelton as he's walking off. And then some poor schmuck walks by with a headset on and accidentally shoulder bumps Shelton Benjamin like you would do that. And Shelton Benjamin beats the piss out of that guy. And then as he's doing that, two other guys come to try to break it up. And then MVP and Bobby Lashley start and they just beat the crap out of 3 or 4 guys. And that's how they do it. And they walk off. So that was that. And then we moved forward to the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal. Now, if you are unfamiliar with this, they do it every year. It's a battle royal of a dozen dudes. When it gets down to 2, the match stops. They then have a one-on-one match, and the winner of that match goes on to take on, it's MJF. It's been MJF every year since the beginning of this company. He's held it for 5 straight years. I think this is the year. Actually, well, it depends, because if it's at World's End, I don't know. But that's what happens here. So the 12 guys, it was Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole were in there like we knew. Evil Uno was in there. Brian Cage, Lance Archer, Mark Davis was in there. They gave Mark Davis a good little look. He looked good. They made him look good a little bit in his short time he was in there. He was hitting some good moves and stuff like that. Rocky Romero was in there. Action Andrade, the Top Flight guys. Roosh was in there. But as we all expected it to be, no. That guy will never be in the AEW ever again. As we expected it to be, the last 2 guys that were left are Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. So next week on Winter is Coming, we are getting a one-on-one match between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, and the winner will be the #1 contender for MJF at World's End in the Dynamite Diamond Ring. I feel like there was a MJF promo vignette right after this, but it's not in my notes. Oh, no, I got it right here. Sorry. For some reason, I moved it. Was it later on in the night?
It may have been like, I think something else happened and then that happened.
Yeah, maybe. I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, I thought it was right after. Either way. So Mike, he does one of his, he's filming from a location, kind of like what he's been doing. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, sir.
So he does a promo.
Where's MJF been? Why the fuck ain't he at TV?
He's filming a movie.
Still?
Yeah, Happy Gilmore too. That's why.
Once in a while.
Yeah. 100%, Johnny. We knew we were getting there. We knew that. Oh, we knew we were getting there.
I did not give a shit about this at all. Like, apparently, okay, that's what's happening.
Jesus Christ, Drew. I'm gonna have to get a new fucking co-host. Oh my God, this guy over here. So MJF, he reminisces.
I'm at a point now where I'm just like, a lot of this shit's not hitting with me.
That's fair. Look at dude, I was there all summer. You were yelling at me, saying, "Why you didn't like that?" I'm like, it was average at best. Average at best. It is what it is. When Sunday Center coming for that job. Yeah. So he reminisces about his team with Adam Cole before, and he this was a good promo by MJF, but then he says, he goes, your actions are the actions that got Roderick Strong's arm broken, which I think that will come into play later, because I think Roderick Strong is going to have that mentality when he turns on Adam Cole at World's End. And he says now he has to beat the shit out of Kyle O'Reilly, his best friend, to get his hands on MJF. And he goes, and honestly, Adam, this whole thing that's going on with Moxley and AEW, I'm blaming you for that too, because if you didn't come back and you didn't mess around with me and do all this stuff, I would be world champion still. And Moxley and his crew wouldn't be taking over AEW like they are. So the fact that he mentioned Moxley was a little, I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll keep that in the back of our minds here a little bit. But
so last year's Continental Classic,
yes,
the blue league and the yellow league weren't facing each other until
the finals. Yes.
So
this year, the semifinals, it's different in the semifinals. Yes.
Didn't they also change the rules of the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal? Because wasn't the ring originally defended in that?
The first couple times, yes. But I think it might have been last year's was the first one. The first couple times, yes. At least when MJF won it originally, he won it by winning the Battle Royal.
Right, yeah.
And then I don't remember, but I feel like it was a battle
one and maybe even the one after that.
I feel like the first 2 or 3 were just straight up battle royals, and then
I don't remember.
I don't know if it was last year, the year before that, but once
finalists.
Yeah, once MJF kind of, because you get the first year or so of the company, MJF was a main player, but he wasn't a world title caliber. He was like a upper, you know what I mean? Once MJF kind of elevated to that world title type guy, that's when, so it was either last year or the year before, that's when they kind of turned it into, oh, the last 2 guys are going to have a match to fight. Or I thought maybe was there one year where MJF was in it, but he was one of the last 2? And then was it the first couple of years? I feel like it wasn't.
Oh, so
that's what it was. Okay, so it was always the last 2 people, but then the 2, so like in the first couple of years, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly next week would be fighting for the ring.
Right.
Now they're just fighting to go face MJF for the ring, if that makes sense. I do remember that. The first year it was Hangman and MJF. I do remember that.
No, but it was Hangman and MJF as the final 2 in the first match, and then
they fought the next week for the ring. And MJF beat him.
Always been doing it that way?
I guess so.
I don't remember.
But at least the last 2 years, maybe 3, but at least the last 2 years, if not the last 3, including this one, the last 3, now they're just fighting to have a match with MJF for the ring. Right. This obviously has a greater story to it than just the ring. This is going to be more
the classic MJF gimmick now.
Exactly.
You have to fight somebody else to fight MJF.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, so MJF was just cutting a promo. It's a good promo. He's saying, you know, Adam, retelling all the stuff that has gone on between them two. And he says that everything that's happening in AEW right now is Adam Cole's fault. And he said he's sick of it. He's sick of Cole pretending to be the hero when he's the jaundice-infected villain. Yeah, so that was that. So that was pretty good. So I'm going back a little bit now because there is one thing I want to talk about. So yeah, we talked about the Battle Royal. So we had a Julia Hart vignette, and then we had Jamie Hayter promo where she called out Julia Hart and she said, listen, it's your turn for your big comeback. Guys, I am not going to be, I will ban all of you from the chat. Every single one of you. So cut it out. Bickering bullshit about a guy who doesn't fucking matter anymore. He's 80. Who cares? Shut up. Anyway, I
haven't been paying. Oh, now I'm reading it. I wasn't paying attention.
I don't want to see comments. Like, I don't care. Talk about what we're talking about or get the hell out. We get a Julia Hart vignette, and she calls Jamie Hayter out and says it's her turn for a big comeback. She says, I had my big comeback. It's time for your big comeback. I want to fight you, but she goes, but it's kind of hard to fight what I can't see. So how about you actually show up and fight me? And that was kind of Jamie Hayter's, you know.
Should be a Dynamite match or a
should be
pay-per-view match even.
Should be.
Hopefully.
Let's hope. The Acclaimed are backstage. Max Caster still being an asshole. And Billy Gunn and Anthony Bowens are like, what the hell?
This was a really interesting segment.
Yeah, you talk about it if you want. I didn't write many notes because I feel about Max Caster the way you feel about AEW currently. So I don't.
Oh, so you're off the Max Caster train completely?
I've always been kind of off the Max Caster train. I like the Acclaimed as an act, but not. It's over and done with to me. At least it feels like they're doing that. They could. I don't think Bowens is going to do it though. I think you got to separate. So Bowens is a dude.
But hold on though. So wait. So one of the most interesting thing that I took from this segment, besides Anthony just being like so blasé about Max, he's just like, "Oh, you're the best wrestler alive? Okay, prove it."
Yeah.
Just so like passive about it.
Yeah.
Was the look that he gave? If you got to go back, because if you didn't catch it, it was quick, but it was just like quick little like scoffing look at Billy Gunn when he called Max the best wrestler alive.
Yeah.
That was like, you know, like, But I don't think that they're gonna New Day Billy Gunn.
I don't think so.
Bowens really just needs to be. Bowens needs to have that Darby run where got him, the workhorse, and then the older veteran guy that's like sometimes tagging with him and stuff. I have always associated the scissoring stuff mostly with Anthony and Billy.
Yeah.
Like, Max has always been an afterthought in that.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense for them to continue on keeping the scissor gimmick alive.
Yep.
And Max just does his heel thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So Max, very bizarre. He says everything is great, but daddy ass is but Max says everything is great. Daddy ass Billy Gunn says everything is not great because we spent the past hour trying to get Max to take his head out of his ass. That's what Billy Gunn says. And then Caster letting MVP in his head, and yes, he's the best wrestler alive, blah, 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 blah. And then, like you said, Bowens says, all right, you're the best wrestler alive, go prove it. And then Max, being a shithead, is like, oh, thanks for the compliment. And like, that type of stuff. And then we get Platinum Max Caster versus Swerve Strickland, and Swerve squashed his ass.
Yes, and that was exactly what needed to happen.
100%. He hits 3 house calls in this, absolutely beat the brakes off of Max Caster.
And yes,
It does. I agree.
Love it.
I agree with Johnny. Swerve looked like a badass in this match. 100. I could tell, Max Caster's coming to the ring doing his rap, and they just kept on showing Swerve, and Swerve was just straight face, just standing there looking angry. And I was watching it with someone, and I went, Swerve's going to beat the shit out of this guy. I didn't know if it would be like a legit squash like it was, but I was like, this is not going long. Like, Swerve's handling business right now. And it turned out to be a squash match. It'll come. But holy crap, man. This Swerve looked great in this match. He beat the crap out of him. 3 house calls. Gets the easy pinfall victory. And then after the match, it looks like Swerve is just getting ready to leave, and he has second thoughts. And he gives a Swerve stomp to Caster after the match. And he leans into the camera, and he says, 2024 has a little bit time left, and I'm not going to waste it. And he goes, Bobby Lashley, this ain't over. And that's how this kind of goes. So obviously we're heading back towards, I assume we're going to get a run back at World's End of Bobby Lashley and Swerve. But yeah, Swerve looked excellent in this match. He looked like the former world champion, like top of the top. Yeah, it was good to see Swerve in that way. He looked amazing. And I would assume that at World's End, when we get the run back of him and Bobby, that things might go a little differently, Drew. I think things might go a little bit differently this time.
Maybe.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. And then we had a first time one-on-one match in AEW. It was Switchblade Jay White versus Pac. This match, Wheeler Yuta was on the outside, and he got his ass involved multiple times, as you would expect him to do when the ref wasn't looking. Clothesline at one point, the psycho knee at another point. But this was another good match. This was another good match between two dudes. It is amazing to me how, and I saw some people, again, how did you not see, like, how did you not see Pac as Pac? Like, how did you not see what Pac could be in a certain guy, if you catch my drift? How do you not see that? Mighty Mouse is what you saw, you moron. But either way, Switchblade Jay White gets the pinfall victory with the Blade Runner. But this was another good match. Jay White overcomes basically a 2-on-1. Basically a 2-on-1 with Wheeler Yuter's involvement on the outside. But Jay White still looking very strong here. They are making Jay White look very, very strong here.
They are.
And it's really about what happened after this match. Like, the match itself was really good. But post-match, Jay White hits a Blade Runner on Wheeler Yuta. And then Marina Shafir arrives to confront him. And then Jon Moxley attacks from behind. He hits a paradigm shift. And you know who comes out? An odd fella to help Jay White. But Hangman Adam Page comes out. And as he's coming out, Moxley and Shafir kind of meet him. They're at the bottom of the ramp. He's coming down. And we see a cameraman come into frame. And he starts choking Moxley with the camera wire. And he's wearing a hood. He's got the mask, We see this, and it's like, who is that?
I love the way that they did this, too. Because the person holding the camera was like, you could hear them be like, hey, what do you do? Like, trying to get the person out of the way. Mm-hmm. That was really great. I love that.
And then as he's choking Moxley out, the hood comes off, and we find out that it is Orange Cassidy. And Orange Cassidy is choking Moxley. And then Hangman comes down. He starts fighting Moxley. Orange Cassidy is brawling with Shafir. So he starts fighting Marina Shafir, or getting her out of the way. Hangman and Moxley are going at it. Pac and Yuta come, and they even the odds a little bit. Page kind of gets thrown out of the ring a little bit. Orange Cassidy gets in the ring. He hits everybody with orange punches. He squares up with Moxley. He hits an orange punch on Moxley. And then Jay White's in the ring still. And Orange Cassidy kind of looks at Jay White. And they kind of look at each other. And then Jay White hits a Blade Runner on Moxley. And then Hangman gets up on the apron, and the two of them, Jay White and Cassidy, are kind of looking at Hangman, and Hangman's kind of looking at, and then he hits, as Carl says, he hits a buckshot lariat on Jon Moxley. And all this whole time, Christian Cage is kind of just hanging near the entrance, holding his little title match in the thing. He's like, okay. So now we've seen this Moxley story with the Death Riders. Obviously, it was the OC stuff. Then they've been pushing Jay White to get up there now. Hangman's been in the distance. But now all of a sudden we see, I'm not going to say it was an alliance, but we kind of see this like Orange Cassidy, Jay White, and Hangman are like the crowd's chanting AEW and shit when they're leaving. And I'm sitting there going, these three guys, I would have never thought these three guys would end up like kind of aligned, especially Hangman with Jay White. They've just been feuding for 2 months, wanting to kill each other. Right. I like this, Drew. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's very intriguing, actually. This was one of the highlights of the show for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if, they Swerve and Hangman had their blood feud, literally.
Yes.
And it ended for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they haven't really mentioned each other that much anymore. Actually, I think the first reference to that feud since that feud ended was Max Caster mentioning the house burning. So, they're kind of reintegrating it very slowly. And what would be a very interesting thing to see out of this is, I think Sinner earlier said he wanted the title back on Swerve, which we all do. We all want that title back on Swerve. But the company's main men's titles, some of them at least, are being held hostage right now.
Yeah.
By a group that is anti the company that they're working for. So, or not, well, I'm sorry, not anti the company itself, but anti the direction of the company.
Yeah, agreed.
So, this new little, whatever we want to call it, between the two people feuding with Hangman and Jay White is intriguing, because does that then mean that Swerve and Hangman are going to have to work together?
You think they do that?
I don't know.
I mean, technically there are 4 dudes in the Death Riders: Claudio, Pac, Wheeler, and Moxley. We saw Orange, Switchblade, and Hangman. So technically, I know Christian was lurking in the back, but Christian doesn't seem like he's going to get involved with this besides pick his spot and do what he has to do.
Right.
Yeah. That's what Christian's going to do. He's not going to be, I'm not, laying down on the sword for AEW. I have a championship opportunity. If I have an opportunity, I'm fucking taking it, and I'm going to win the belt.
Right.
I do think Christian,
smart.
Now I'm honestly thinking now, I always thought Darby would be the guy that would take it off Mox. I think Christian's going to be the guy that takes it off Mox, the way that they're doing it. I think this is still going to be a AEW taking down the Death Riders thing, as opposed to one dude just taking the belt off Moxley. So I feel like as we continue to go along and they're actually teasing this, I actually feel like I'm starting to lean that Christian is going to be the guy that takes it off Moxley.
No, but now
in one of these situations.
But so he takes it off of him.
Not now, not soon.
Pro AEW guy.
No, yes, just like, hey, I'm
advantage.
This is exactly. I'm Christian Cage. This is my opportunity. This is for me. But the more this goes, the more I feel like that might be the scenario. Because I don't know about you, I like Darby, but when I saw Orange Cassidy take off that hood and it was him again, that's the guy I want to be Moxley. I want it to be Orange Cassidy more than Darby. I want it to be Orange Cassidy, but they're just not. I don't think they're going to do it. So to me, I'm like, I would love it to be Jay White, but I don't think they're going to do it.
My dream scenario in this whole thing is that Darby or whichever babyface choose as the guy to take down Moxley,
yeah,
win at whatever show that they're doing that at.
And then Christian takes it from them.
Christian tries to take it from them, but Adam Copeland stops him.
That's fair.
That's fair. That's my thing, because there's no way that they were just gonna have the way that they got him, that they had him get the contract with Luchasaurus. There's no way that he was actually going to successfully cash that in.
It's fair. My thing is, like, if Adam Copeland's coming back, I just don't always want Adam Copeland to be involved with Christian. You know what I mean? Like, we had the feud.
It's gonna happen until
it is, but like, I feel like
done.
I know. I just feel like, oh, the guy's been gone for a year and he's just going to come back and just do the same shit he was doing for the last. And I love the Adam Copeland run before he got hurt, but like, we saw the Christian him thing. Like, I want him to come back and fight new people. But that could just be, for Luchasaurus, Kill Switch, Luchasaurus, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, that's a scary situation. So hopefully he's doing okay. But I agree. I do think when Copeland does come back, that's a good point. It probably will be to screw Christian. And then they'll have one more blow off and then they kind of go do their things. Although I'm a Christian guy, I would love Christian to be the world champ, even if it's for like a week. I don't care. I think it would be fun. I don't care. So we had a back from commercial. Chris Jericho. So he's in the back. He's promoting all the shows. It's called New York Minute, which I thought was kind of funny. And he's actually talking up Ring of Honor and AEW going to the Hammerstein Ballroom. He mentions Honor Club. Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
He mentions Honor Club. Right? He talks about Final Battle at Hammerstein Ballroom. He talks about the 2 AEW shows at Hammerstein Ballroom. We then found out that at the Ring of Honor show, he's going to be defending the heavyweight title against Matt Cardona, which is very cool. Very, very cool.
An interesting implication there, considering
GCW.
Things that have been going on.
Well, and SRS had a comment from Brett Lauderdale, the guy that runs GCW, and he said, hey, like, we're excited about this. We're excited about the opportunity, the atmosphere and he said the atmosphere for our shows and AEW shows at Hammerstein is going to be great. So it feels like maybe it feels like maybe this whole situation that happened with Effie and Ricky Starks and kind of pulling him, it might have led to at least a conversation between Brett and Tony. And there might be some sort of understanding. I don't know. We don't know. We'll figure it out, I'm sure, with due time. But it at least seems like there's some sort of agreement that I know Matt Cardona is an independent wrestler. He can go do it, but he's a GCW guy for the most part. He wrestles regularly and has been a part of GCW regularly.
And it is just a little too coincidental that Chris Jericho's opponent at Hammerstein is also Effie's opponent at Hammerstein.
Correct. Correct.
Something's going on there.
Yeah. But either way, like this, I think this is a good thing. Good for Cardona. That's a great spot for him fighting Jarrett. Like, that's a great spot for him. That guy, I will never say a negative word about that guy, Matt Cardona, because he has gotten himself over everywhere he's ever been, including WWE. Because WWE wasn't getting him over. He got himself over. Incredible stuff. We then got a cowboy theme. This, let me tell you. I like this because I like corny shit. This right here. First of all, it looks like a 70s Western movie. I'm like, what is going on here? When it starts, I'm like, this is an AEW thing, right? Because, and it's 2 cowboys.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was AEW.
It didn't. And like the AEW, there was no AEW logo in any of the corner. I'm like, this is still AEW. I think there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance you might see him pop up in a Rumble.
Oh, that could be possible.
That'd be fun. Would he come back as Zack Ryder, though?
Title,
yes. So basically, it was saying that. Yes, Carl, that's a good
Sandy,
one.
You're still here.
Sandy's still here, man. Yeah, he's a WWE guy. He just fought. But yeah, Carl, that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of like an old Western, Dirty Harry movie. And it was 2 cowboys talking about this guy that is most wanted and he's out on the loose and he's coming back. And, they're very much talking about that. And And at the end of it, we see one of the Cowboys staple a most wanted sign to the saloon door. And it says most wanted Bandito. So Bandito is going to be returning. Bandito is excellent. He is great. Very good. Very good that he'll be coming back. But again, another name added to the mix. But yeah, that was a very cool vignette. I like different things like that. Like that was a different cool. Yeah, was it hokey and corny? Yeah, but it was just different. It's fun. Like that. I liked it. I liked it a lot. We then had a one-on-one match. It was Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. Decent match here between the two. But this was really to get Anna Jay over. So Anna Jay wins. She hits the gory face buster. She gets the victory over Penelope Ford. And then post-match, Anna Jay grabs a mic, man. And she calls out Mercedes Moné. She demands that she comes to the ring. Mercedes Moné comes to the ring. And on the way, Mercedes says, if Chris Statlander, who's the strongest woman on the roster, can't beat me for the TBS title, what makes you think you can? Anna Jay. Like, what? I just took care of Statlander. She mentions Mariah May. She says, Mariah May must have kicked your head a little too hard. She goes, but I like your confidence. She goes, so if you want a title shot, come back in 10 years once you've actually done something. Good line. Good line by Mercedes.
I like that, yeah.
And then Anna Jay just goes, oh, okay. Something like this. And she slaps Mercedes Moné across the face. And then Mercedes starts to take her shit up. Like she's getting ready to throw down. And then she goes, yeah, I don't have time for this. And she just kind of leaves. And that's that. So good little thing.
That I liked.
Yeah, that's a good little thing. That was a good little segment. Then we come back, and this segment, another segment with the ladies, which I liked a lot. Renee is backstage, and she's with Mariah May. And Mariah May just starts talking crap about Renee immediately, and to the point where Renee's like, you know what? I don't have time for this. And Renee wants to leave immediately. And Mariah goes, no. You're going to sit down and you're going to listen. She goes, I'm the champion. I'm infallible. You're going to listen. And then she goes, I'm giving Mina Shirakawa a title shot out of pity. And I believe in her, and we'll have champagne after. But she goes, women's wrestling is dead and buried. And she goes, and I'm holding the shovel. And then all of a sudden, we see Shirakawa run into frame. She's got a bottle of champagne.
Did you see her? You saw her run. That wasn't the first time that she was back.
I really? No, I didn't know.
So she there's one point the camera is focusing on. I think Renee was sitting to the left, right?
Renee was on the left. Mariah was on the right. Yeah.
The camera was more pointed towards Renee, and all of a sudden, Shirakawa just stomping off in the background. I don't know if you see
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I did see Mariah had the line. This is a quote, but she had the line where she said, shaking your tits isn't everything, or something along those lines. She said something like that, but she used that, and it was one of those things where it was obviously a dig at Mirakawa, and it was kind of a dig. I mean, last time I checked, they were both shaking them things. Right. When they were friendly with each other. So the fact that Mariah May all of a sudden she's like, well, shaking those things isn't, that doesn't make you a star. And it's like, you were doing it with her. The hell are you talking about? Anyway, but either way, Shirakawa rolls up. She's got a whole bottle of champagne, and you think she's going to hit Mariah May over the back of the head with it, like Mariah May was trying to do with her. And she doesn't. She hands it to Mariah May. Because Mariah May in her thing, she also said that she's going to make Mina Shirakawa work for the title. And so Shirakawa hands her the champagne bottle, and she goes, do it to my face, which I like. She was like, hit me in my face. Don't try to attack me from behind. Hit me in my face. And then she goes, make me work. And she just leaves. And that was the end of the segment. So I thought, very good. I thought this was a nice little segment. Again, very quick, nothing too spectacular to it. I just thought it was a well-done segment. I loved it. I loved it a lot. I loved the seriousness of it. I loved Mina saying, hit me in the, she was like, hit me with it. I don't care if you hit me in the face with it. Don't attack me. Like, let's go. I liked it a lot. Now, their match is next week on Winter is Coming for the AEW Women's World Championship. I expect that match to be very, very good.
Oh, yes.
It should be excellent. Do we see a Toni Storm return at any point soon? Because I feel like this is the story now. These two were entwined with her. I feel like it's got to be either next week during this match or sometime if they have a rematch at World's End. It's got to be.
I think Winter is Coming is a big show to do something like that.
Yeah, Spencer thinks World's End. So maybe they have their first match next week. We run it back at World's End.
That's possible.
And then Tony. I feel like this is the window.
That's definitely possible.
Sandy, have a good one, buddy. We'll see you on Tuesday when we're doing Firmly WWE. But that's kind of, I feel like she should be coming back here. That's all.
Yeah, if it's not Winter is Coming, I could definitely see it happening in World's End because they're going to start building to Grand Slam in Australia now.
So. Yeah. I feel like this is the window here this month for Toni to come back if she is going to come back. That's a good question by Johnny. I don't think so. I would think Toni would come back and want to go after Mariah again, right? Or maybe, I mean, you could go that way. You really could. But I feel like...
Well, I mean, the way that I feel like Mariah and Toni isn't really done yet, though.
Exactly. And my thing is, I feel like even though they're fighting, I feel like when Toni does come back, Mina is going to go with Mariah. Like, I feel like Mina and Mariah will end. Yeah. And I think it'll be Toni against. Yeah. You think it'll go the other way? Or you think they just all three of them just go separate and they just all hate each other? Like, I feel like they're feuding now.
Toni and Mina had like a little tag thing
in Japan
recently.
When Toni was in Japan. Yeah, they were friendly over there. So, I mean, that could be into it too. I don't know. I just feel like when Toni does come back, I expect her to go straight for Mariah because I agree with you. I don't think that's over at all. They only had the one match, really. I don't think that's over. But Mina, I don't know. But yeah, like Johnny says, they all still love each other in the end. Even in that vignette that they showed last night, or this little segment that we're talking about, Mariah very much said, I believe in her. Like, I believe she'll find her way, like, back to, we'll celebrate with champagne after. Like, I believe in her.
Right.
So I don't know. But then we get to our main event, Drew. It is Brody King. It is Claudio Castagnoli. It is a Gold League match in the Continental Classic. What?
You froze for a second for me.
I froze. I don't know. Everything's looking all right.
Did I freeze to you?
No. I was also reading my notes, so I wasn't directly looking at you. But no, I don't think so.
No, but it was mid-talk. I don't know if it happened for just me or for other people. So
maybe.
You were in mid-sentence, and then it broke for a second.
No. They both coming in with 3 points. They both won their first matchups in the Continental Classic. And these two, they had a good one. I love Brody King, man. I don't hide it at all, but I love Brody King. Keep it in the pants. Jesus Christ. What are you, 12? Jesus, good God, man.
Did they do that already?
Yeah. We just got, he can't, someone's too excited in the chat. They gotta keep it in the pants. But Carl, yeah. My thing is
great match.
Oh, I love Brody King. Both these guys are great, but Brody King, I want Brody King to win this whole thing. I know he's not gonna, but I want Brody King to win this whole thing. I love Brody King. Very good match. They beat the crap out of each other. I actually like the way the match ended too. Because Claudio cheated. So it kind of like, I know that's not really Claudio's style all the time, but him giving the low blow when the ref's not looking, that leads to things. So that fourth guy that we're talking about, I think it's going to be Brody King.
I thought maybe it would be Claudio.
It could be Claudio. Well, Claudio got the win, so he has 6 points. And now Brody only has 3 because a loss, you don't get anything, obviously. So Claudio is in the advantage here. But that's what I thought. I thought it would be on the Blue League. We got Fletcher and Okada. And then in the Gold League, I think it's Will. And then you can either insert Claudio, Brody, You could do Ricochet to get that Will Ricochet match, but now that they're facing the opposite side, you're not going to get it. We're just going to get it in the regular,
right?
But I think Brody King is the guy that you could get in that fourth, and then if we get a Brody King versus Okada match or a Brody King versus Fletcher match, however they do it, and then you get Will, because the way that I look at it, like you have Okada as the 1 seed and Fletcher as the 2 seed in the Blue League. And then you have Will Ospreay as the 1 seed and Brody King as the 2 seed in the Gold League. So then it's number 1 Okada. No, you want it to do the other way around, because you don't want Will and Fletcher to fight in the semifinals. You want Will and Fletcher to fight in the final. So you would set it up that it would be Will Ospreay versus Okada in the semifinal, and then Fletcher versus the other guy, which if you're giving me Fletcher and Brody King all day. And then you would get the final would be either Ospreay versus Okada or Fletcher, however you want to do that. That's a huge match no matter what you get. But I feel like that's kind of the way they do it. But talk to me about this main event, Drew. This main event I thought was really good. I thought this main event was really, really good. Couple spots. They did the spot where Brody was taken outside and they got to the 9 count and he had to find his way from the crowd back into the ring. Shelton Benjamin is another name that could be in the semifinals. 100%. 100%. But if you're doing that, then you're either taking Okada or Fletcher out of the semifinals if Shelton's in there.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
so that's really the only caveat there. Is
the unfortunate thing is in the tournament like this, people need to lose, and they don't. People that you don't want to see lose.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it already happened with Shelton last night, and that kind of like gave him that little fire in the backstage promo.
I mean, if you think about the guys who have lost already, we've had 3 nights of this. Darby Allin has taken a loss. Ricochet has taken a loss. Shelton Benjamin has taken a loss. Brody King has taken a loss. Garcia and Okada drew. They had a draw, so neither of them took a loss. But like, that's the thing with this tournament is it's filled with 10 of these 12 guys are main event caliber. That was my thinking, Johnny, because it does feel like the long play they're doing is Darby getting the Mox.
Right.
But this gives you a title shot to the Continental class. Like, it doesn't give you a title shot to the world title. You get to go for the Continental, which would not then be in the storyline of Darby going towards Mox, obviously. So I don't know. But really good main event. Claudio, when the referees Claudio does that thing where Bryce Remsburg was coming towards him and he like put his arms on Bryce Remsburg to get his attention, and then he low blowed Brody King with his leg where Remsburg couldn't see it.
Right.
And then that led right into the neutralizer and a pinfall victory for Claudio. So Claudio now has 6 points. So Claudio has 6 points in the Gold League. Kyle Fletcher has 6 points in the Blue League. They are the leaders, respectively, of each league currently. But yeah. And that's how we went there. That's how we went. So, yeah. What'd you think? Now, again, I need you to tell me, because you said you weren't feeling this Dynamite. Now, I know you said your comments about Mercedes and the CEO stuff and blah, blah, blah. What about this Dynamite did you not like? Because I thought the matches were good. I thought, the crowd was hot. It was
I was happy that the crowd was hot.
Yeah.
Sure. That was.
Well, I want to dive more into what about, because I thought last night was one of the better episodes of Dynamite we had in a while.
I think I'm kind of just like, I did, so that the Diamond Battle Royal thing.
Yeah.
That was completely pointless.
Yeah.
But as much as I'm like liking sort of the direction of Hangman and Jay White and Orange Cassidy, the Death Riders have just been doing the same damn thing since the start.
Yeah.
Which kind of, I need to see like a progression.
Well, I thought last night involving, when we get that, like, not alliance, but you know what I mean? When we get the Hangman, Jay White, that was a little bit different. Wait, what happened? I didn't see. Did you see the vignette? This wasn't on the show. Was this like on the socials where he says that Johnny says Mox was holding a signal flare?
Oh no, I saw that on TV.
Was it? What the hell did I miss? When the hell did they do that?
It was just a really quick. It was a really quick thing. They didn't even say anything.
Oh, okay. Now is he holding a signal flare because he needs more?
A flare.
He needs more people. He needs more people to come on his side. Is that what that is for?
Oh, I didn't
like signal flare. Like, come help me. You know, if you're lost, you have a signal flare. Come help me.
I did not think about that.
So is that maybe a little foreshadowing to like maybe a new member? He's not giving it up. Johnny, he will not. He will not.
We know it's not Eric Bischoff now. So.
No. Well, no. But do we think that's what that was? Like a signal flare? Because usually if you're lost somewhere and you got one, like they tell you, shoot a signal flare up, people will come help you. They'll be like, oh, what the hell is that? We got to go see what that, you know?
I don't really care about the hook and patriarchy thing that much. And I kind of find it a little odd that Kip Sabian is getting more TV time than the tag champions. You know, that we were all like really excited and wanted Private Party to be the champions after 5 long years, and they finally did that story, and then they've barely been on TV since.
Yep.
A little weird, gotta say. You know, Will Ospreay wasn't on TV again this week.
Yep.
MJF is just doing the backstage thing. Yes, I know that he's filming still, but you know, take a break from filming for a minute, come fly to a show and hit somebody from behind or cut a promo in the ring. I loved the ending of Full Gear, that whole chaoticness of everyone going after everyone and the car accident and the RB going crazy. But I feel like that hasn't been paid. It's starting to slowly trickle into paying off. But Darby isn't really associating with the Death Riders lately since that moment.
Yeah.
And now I feel like Orange Cassidy almost took his place.
Yeah.
In a sense, because Orange Cassidy was like choking on toxic liquids 2 weeks ago, and now he's just back in the fold. And Darby is just losing in Continental Classic matches. So I don't really know what's going on there. Well, yes, they defended the tag titles at Full Gear, but then they haven't been on TV since Full Gear. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. Well, listen, AEW doesn't really. They don't really care about the tag teams. But hopefully they'll get a little bit better.
And you know, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, because of the. I'm not. I was completely fine with them never going back to MJF and Adam Cole.
It's fair. I can understand that.
And I see a lot of like negativity on it again, which is just rehashing the same exact time last year when people didn't want it to be a thing anymore. And I'm not. Listen, the Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, they have history together. They have tell great stories together. I'm not knocking them as performers and wrestlers. Yeah. It's just not as interesting to me as I would like it to be. To just do a whole.
I think part of the problem is Max. Part of the problem is Max is not there. If Max was there every week, they'd be able to be doing a lot more than what they're currently doing. I think that is part of it.
They didn't need to involve the Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Yeah.
For MJF and Adam Cole to have their match together.
Yeah.
It could have just been MJF and Adam Cole have their match together.
That's
it didn't need to be the whole thing with the Kingdom and Roddy. It didn't need to be the whole pointless Dynamite, the Battle Royal for the ring. You know, it was just like shoehorning things in just to get to what we want and waste time on television.
Yeah.
Like that whole Diamond Battle Royal could have been a Private Party match. Could have been another women's match. Could have been a something, besides what the obvious conclusion of 16, 17 minutes of television time was going to be. So that's just my thing. So I don't hate the company. I'm not wishing death to it like the morons on Twitter. I want it to be successful. And it is. It's proven to be successful. Getting a new incredible TV deal, gonna be around for at least 3 more years, and definitely will be around more after that. I just things that don't usually tend to affect me, like crowd reaction and ratings and stuff, they're kind of starting to get to me a little bit. Like
Fair.
144,000 people watching a major show with implications, with title implications, with these Continental Classic matches. That's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I've never cared about ratings. I don't care about ratings at all.
No.
It's just not an important thing to me. I understand what you're saying. Yes, that is bad, but it was also a 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Like I don't. It's a Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's on the same day as Survivor Series.
Yeah,
there's college football.
I also get that too.
Yeah, there's college football. People traveling. Like it's just I think more of the problem is whenever they start this new simulcasting, they do whatever they're doing. If the show's on at Saturday nights at 8 o'clock, it needs to be on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. Okay? It can't be Saturday night at 8 o'clock for 3 weeks in a row, and then it's Saturday at 11:30 at night. And then the next week it's Saturday at 4. Then move it to a different night if that's what we're doing. Move it to a different night because consistency is what is most important. And if you're not consistent, nobody's going to watch your fucking show. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, it's like, and again, you can, to me, for ratings now, there's so many different ways to watch the program now.
Yeah. And it doesn't,
that it's all
Nielsen,
it's just
Nielsen
not what
is an outdated.
Yeah. There's just so many different ways. Yeah. There's just so many different ways for people to watch shit now. And it's just like the ratings, that is an argument that I will just, don't get me wrong.
But to your point, to what you just said. So to what you just said about it being different now than it used to be, that's why when people say this now, I go, well, yes, 40 years ago, not every household had a television.
Exactly.
40
I don't
years ago,
I don't like that argument either.
40 years ago, there was really only your basic cable channels.
Yes.
And not even all of the channels that there are today.
Not even close, dude.
So, nowadays it is literally quicker than, the drop of a hat. You're going to find something on television that you might be interested in watching. So, 40 years ago,
you had three options. It was 4, 5, or 7,
WWE wasn't even on television 40 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, it's one of those things where, again, ratings don't matter to me. I view it and I base my wrestling watching on my enjoyment of watching the program. I don't care about ratings. However, people that, again, I don't care about them, but like I look at a number and when it's under 150,000 people, that's okay. That is not, you are not going to, I don't care how much money you have. Like, you could be a billionaire that could keep the company going forever. That's fine. But guess what? You just signed a new contract. Like, fine. But, if you're pulling 150K for the next 3 years, they ain't re-signing you. So you got to figure it out a little bit. Like, I don't just turn a complete blind eye to ratings. They just don't dictate. Like, those people, like the people that are like, oh, AEW did under 150K. Don't move it to Thursdays. Between Two Beards is on Thursdays. You don't need to move anything to Thursdays. We have enough kind of programming because everyone knows we're the best. Unbelievable. But it's one of those things like, I don't know, man. The people, the things that I don't like are the people that like look at ratings and they just determine that the show sucks because the ratings were bad. You know what I mean? Like yeah, exactly, Johnny. You got to keep Between Two Beards. Impact, what are they now? TNA are counter programs us. We still outdraw them, but TNA counter programs us because they're scared. We don't need AEW getting scared either. But it's one of those things where that's the thing for me is do ratings matter? Does it matter that they got a really bad rating on Saturday? Yeah, if it continues, it will. But just because they got a bad rating doesn't mean that show on Saturday sucked, because it didn't. It was a pretty decent episode of Collision, right? But there are people that see that number and that just feeds into their bullshit, their anti whatever, or it just, they see that and they're too simple. So they just go, oh, there you go. Well, Devin's a friend of mine. Well, don't listen to Drew because he'll tell you not to. What?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you said you're down on the product. You would say don't watch it.
I'm down on it, but I don't want it to not be around.
Yeah, I agree. And Justin, that is not a fair comment. That is not a fair comment. It is not a one-sided thing. So
you know what? The
problem is a comment like that. That is part of the problem.
Well, no, I won't. I think the comment is
it is not a one-sided thing. Yeah, it's a misguided. Yeah, maybe that's a little. It is not a one-sided thing.
Because here's the biggest problem that a lot of people don't realize, especially the people who would. And Justin, listen, I'm not knocking you here, but
no, you've been great in the chat today, pal. Like, you've been great. Like, we're happy you're here, but that comment is part of the problem.
There are the people on one side and people on the other side who are always going to take shots at the other company, regardless of its success, regardless of the good positive moves that it does. And that's because mainly those people exist in this bubble, and the other people exist in that bubble, and all they're being fed and all they're viewing at the same time is anti-WWE, WWE bad, anti-AEW, AEW bad. And you need to have a space that appreciates, acknowledges, and accepts that both companies existing, thriving, successful is better for the wrestling business.
Yeah. And I just think that's how it goes. Like, it's one of those things to me where this is a topic that gets talked about ad nauseum, but that's what it is. You don't have to like everything. You just want to, if you like predominantly WWE, good for you. If you like predominantly AEW, good for you. Right? Like, that's okay. If you like predominantly, if you're a TNA guy, if you're an MLW guy, if you're a Love Pro Wrestling guy, whatever you are, if that's what your main bag is, that's all you watch, good for you. You're allowed to do that. But just because that's the only thing you watch, that doesn't mean that, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's very odd to me. Like, a perfect example for me is I don't watch a lot of sitcoms, right? So, like, one sitcom that is super duper popular that I never watched, I've seen a couple episodes, is The Big Bang Theory, right? One of the most popular shows in the history of time. I've seen a couple episodes, didn't really make me laugh, but I haven't watched enough of it. If somebody is telling me how great Big Bang Theory is, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh yeah, that show sucks. That show sucks. I don't watch it. It sucks. Sucks. I prefer How I Met Your Mother, so Big Bang Theory sucks. What? What does that mean? That makes no sense. Oh, so you like another show? So this show just sucks because you like that show? I like Sopranos, so Breaking Bad, get the fuck out of here. I was a Sopranos guy. So, I don't watch The Wire. No, I was a Sopranos guy. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it just doesn't, it does not make sense to me.
There's another entertainment field out there where actors and actresses switch from one to the other.
Yeah.
Called soap operas.
Yeah.
So if you watch a General Hospital or whatever
exactly
are that are out there, you know, you like, there's Bold and the Beautiful, there's Young and the Restless, there's General Hospital. these shows.
Yeah. Are they still all on, by the way?
Those 3 are.
Okay, fair.
I know.
My mom used to eat that shit up. My mom used to eat that shit up all the time.
Yeah, my mom too.
All the time.
Religiously. But actors and actresses from both of those shows, all 3 of those shows even, kind of like rotate and become different characters on other shows. Now, if the person playing, Nick, whatever his name is on Young of the Restless, if
he'll be he's a different character on a different show.
But does that now mean that because he went from the Young of the Restless to the Bold and the Beautiful, the Bold and the Beautiful sucks, and how dare he?
Yeah.
How
dare he keep
about?
How dare he keep a job?
It's like,
where's the loyalty at, man? Where's the loyalty?
Like, that actor always sucked.
Did he?
Oh yeah, he was a terrible actor.
Yeah, because you watched that other one that he was on and you loved him. He was your favorite character, but now he went over there, so he's a piece of shit. Okay, we get it. Johnny, I agree. I do think there is that aspect of it too. That there are certain people that have large platforms. So there's that. Carl does say, my ex-girlfriend forced me to watch all 279 episodes of Big Bang Theory. Don't waste your time. It does indeed. Well, but that's your opinion. That's your opinion.
And it's fine. It's a fine opinion to have.
But there are plenty of people that disagree with your opinion, and that's okay too. But if it got to the point where...
what makes... I'm sorry to cut you off, but what makes that opinion valid and more valid than the what you had just said before? You actually watched all 279 episodes.
Yeah.
So you have more of a right to talk about it sucking because you actually put your energy into watching it.
Correct. Like you are allowed to have that opinion because you watched every single episode of that show. I would say more than 60 to 65% of these clowns that talk shit about either one, they don't watch the other one at all, or very minimally. They watch the other one. So your opinion, let me say this for everybody, does not fucking matter. Okay? And in the scheme of things, guys, to our close ones, to our family, to our friends, our opinions matter. But in the scheme of everything, none of our opinions matter.
Get off of social media.
I understand social media with the information and all that. It can be fun at times. Social media and its existence does not mean that everybody's opinion on this earth matters, because most of them, they don't. Nobody gives a shit about your opinion. Nobody gives a crap about our opinion, and we've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes. Like, stop it. You just stop it. Just stop it. You don't like something? Cool. You know what happened when I was younger and I didn't like things? I just didn't watch them or talk about them ever because I didn't like them. I didn't make people feel bad because they liked them.
We need more wrestling fans like Sandy, who was here in
the
chat.
Yeah, but Sandy got... And again, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you. You are correct, because a guy like Sandy, who doesn't watch AEW, who came in this chat to wish us well and joy, he got run out of this chat because people were shitting on him because he was saying WWE things. I'm looking at you, Justin. Appreciate you being here, but you were one of them. And then he said, I'm out of here. I'll see you on Tuesday. So he got run out of the chat because people were shitting on him because he prefers WWE. So there were problems in our chat today, which is why I got a little feisty earlier and said some shit.
Yeah, so I did notice that too.
Sandy is the type of fan that all wrestling fans should be. Doesn't watch AEW a lick, but he's in here every Thursday supporting us, saying hi to the people in the chat that he normally sees on Tuesdays when we talk WWE. And because he said yeet, or he said one fucking thing, we had the clowns and again, I appreciate you all being here. Like, you've been great in the chat today. I'm not like attacking you individually, but we had clowns in the chat start giving him shit because of it, to the point where he fucking left. And if you didn't think I noticed that, I noticed that.
I do too.
And if it would have kept going, some of you wouldn't be in this chat anymore. If you understand my drift. That's fine, but we're talking about AEW. So that was not a conversation that needed to happen. Again, Justin, part of the problem. So, you know,
this is the thing. It's a behavior that has been born and molded out of.
I will allow all the bullying of Pluggo. I will allow all the bullying.
It's a behavior that has been festered and molded and continues to thrive solely because social media allows people to view only their own opinion, nothing else.
Yeah.
If you hate WWE and you go
I'm not referencing
on
you,
Twitter,
Johnny, I'm not referencing anybody I'm not referencing anybody indirectly, but it was just, again, Sandy was here being a good person in the chat, you know, and he's being a good person in the chat, being a good fan of the show. He made one off comment, and 2 or 3 of you started just asking, you know, just started doing your thing to the point where he was like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'll see you on Tuesday. Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. And that's part of the problem that we are discussing.
Yeah. And it's
so you can't be
in our chat, the people who spew these types of things on social media. It's at face value, it is the behavior of social media, of, like Devin said up there, social media, it's given people a sense of entitlement and makes people think that their opinion is more of the fact in their mind.
Yes.
It's not a fact. If you think AEW sucks, if you think WWE sucks, you can have that opinion.
Of course.
But you cannot now make the lives of people who enjoy those products miserable. Because that is just, you know, that's where we devolve as a society.
I mean, we're already there. We're already there. Who we kidding? Who we kidding? But
you might not like, Justin, you might not like Jey Uso, but somebody who does like Jey,
he sells the most merch in WWE. So a lot of people like Jey Uso.
I know. I have a Jey Uso
exactly. Shirt. So again, like you are not wrong in your opinion that you think the Usos suck. That's fine. That's fine. But you can't. That is not universal fact. That is not universal fact. And the people that take it, who doesn't love Jay's mullet?
Oh, it rules.
You know what I mean? And, you know, and it's just kind of like, you know, just that type of stuff. But
we want the behavior and the mindset to change when it comes to viewing wrestling, because, you know, why? Listen, you watch. You're a big sports guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to mention baseball as a.
I love baseball. It's my favorite of the sports.
As an example.
Yes.
Here's a team. Like, here's 2 teams with a heated rivalry. I'm going to say the New York Yankees and the Houston Astros.
What? The Red Sox and Yankees are the rivalry. But anyway.
Well, the Astros lately also. Definitely rivals. But when they are having a baseball game together, when they're facing each other in a baseball game.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen Jose Altuve and Aaron Judge just yucking it up on second, laughing, or whoever's on first? You know, they're laughing with and talking to the player that just got to first base.
Yeah,
it's like this is how it actually is. The Houston Astros fans and the New York Yankees fans may hate each other and wish death upon their other each other and their teams and everything. But when the teams are on the field, laughing with each other, being actual human beings with each other. And you're on Twitter saying, fuck this person, fuck that person. This team needs
Boris,
to
well, Boris said it right, though.
But listen,
I mean, at least somebody in the chat. Boris is speaking facts. Okay? Boris is spouting facts in the chat. Anyway,
for the vitriol and the pure, just unfiltered hatred to be more on the fans of the teams or the fans of the wrestling companies.
That's what it always is.
Each other than, well, you know, because people from AEW have supported people in WWE and vice versa.
Of course.
It just makes everyone on social media look like a complete idiot.
Yeah, you know, either way. Either way.
So, like, I'm here. I'm down.
Yeah, I was going to say, Drew's down on the product. He openly at the beginning of the show said, I'm not feeling AEW lately. Like, he's down on AEW currently, but he's here and we're doing whole shows and he's speaking objectively to it. He's not saying, you know, I don't know. It's just,
I'm not saying we're not going to end the stream and then privately I'm going to tell him, yeah, I'm not doing AEW, firmly AEW anymore. It's over.
That is going to happen. Actually, once we sign off, he is going to say that. He's going to go, I'm done with this shit. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. But I can't do it anymore. And that's it. But on that note, that was a good way to fill it. I was like, we stopped talking about Dynamite. I was like, we've only been doing this for like a minute and a half, bro. And so I'm just like, what?
But, yeah, we did finish kind of quickly.
We did. But then we kind of, and this wasn't even the plan. We just kind of devolved into this. And then we've been talking for 10 extra minutes about, you know, Colorado did win the Stanley Cup. That is something that happened a couple years ago. That is true. All right.
So, you know, just to put a bow on that whole topic, Justin, I like you. You're a new person here. And Carl's a new person here who's been subscribed to us for a little bit, apparently.
Yeah.
Very much. It's the first time you're commenting.
Very rare. Yeah. This is the first time he's been in the chat like all show. So that's good. And again, we want to talk to you guys about the shows and stuff like that. But I don't, and again, you can't like Carl said earlier, I can't patrol everything that's happening in the chat. But when I start to see that type of nonsense, I'm going to call it out in the stream. And if you don't stop, I'm going to kick you out of the fucking chat. That's the rule. Okay. For the new guys here, you can have your opinions. You're allowed to have your opinions. But when your opinions start impeding the viewership of other people that have been here longer than you or that are here to enjoy the show, your ass will not be in the chat. I hope that is an understood thing on this side of it from the two hosts to you guys. We want banter. We want you guys to have different opinions. We want you guys to discuss your opinions. But when it starts getting to the point where we're making fun of people or being smart, and again, you can be a smart ass and do it in like a respectful, funny way. I'm a smart ass all the fucking time. Okay? You can do that in a respectful way.
He's lose to me after the lost the World Series. Okay.
True story. True story.
It's still here, I'm sure, somewhere.
It was a good day for the Dodgers.
Today was a good day.
It was. Ice Cube leading it off.
Yankees lose.
You love saying it.
That's never leaving. That's never leaving the back of this. Every time I'm doing it. I'm hoping for I might just come on and go live. When Juan Soto signs with the Red Sox, I might just come on here and go live with the run-in and just play that once and leave. That might be the only thing I do. That literally might be the only thing I do. But that's what we're doing. Pluggo's the exception. Yes, Pluggo is the exception. But anyway, that is the rule. That's the rule from here. Not singling anybody out in the chat, but we can be better. So on that note, Drew, let the people know where they can find you. And then I'll do my thing. And then we'll get the hell out of here.
You can find me on Twitter at the Drew Nicholas, Blue Sky, just Drew Nicholas. And I am the CEO now, apparently, as I put for myself.
Yeah, I saw that. As somebody who hates that gimmick, it's amazing that you would do that for yourself.
Listen, if I'm doing the dance now, I'm calling myself the CEO. Although CEOs aren't being favored lately, so I might want to take that off. I'm not an actual CEO. So please,
Johnny, you as well, my friend. Have a good weekend. We will see you next week.
Nobody
yeah,
hire a hitman to take me out.
Yeah. Oh, geez, yeah, you saw that. Yeah. Oh, what a story, huh? Wow.
Yeah, that's
holy crap, huh? That was on the streets of New York?
It was. Yes.
Wow. I couldn't believe it.
So yes, I am not a real CEO, so nobody come hire him.
Well, you immediately took that off your name. You're like, I'm not getting shot in the street.
I don't want that.
Not me. Not me, not ever.
And I collect the super chats and humper chats for Fightful's AEW Collision post show, which I will be doing this Saturday. So come hang out with Rick, Cresta, and Iridian and myself, and it's going to be an awesome time. And follow Firmly LW on Twitter as well.
Yep. JPJ Loves Gaming everywhere. Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, all the normal social media outlets that we just shit on for 10 minutes that you can find me. You can find me there. JPJ Loves Gaming.
Tailor your viewing on social media so that everyone is involved and everyone is a happy, wonderful, positive, non-toxic douche.
Oh man. Yeah, but that's where you can find me. Usually stream some video games over on the Twitch or TikTok. Are they doing a show with NXT on what? What is that? Scott, what does that mean?
I don't know. He's doing Firmly, and he's not.
Yes. Oh, yes. That is a new thing. I will promote that. So obviously you can find me here Tuesdays and Thursdays with Drew, 10 a.m. Firmly WWE Tuesdays, Firmly AEW today on Thursdays. Thursday nights, 8 p.m., the flagship show Between Two Beards. You can come and bully Pluggo if you need to. I will draw the line if it gets to be too much, though. I will. He's my boy. But yes, that's the flagship here at Love Wrestling. That's every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Oh, yeah, he does the Collision post show. Yeah, right. That's what you do, right? With Iridian, Krista. Yeah.
Oh, is he asking me if they're doing?
Yeah.
Deadline is this weekend.
Oh, yes, that is true. Deadline. They moved usually they've been doing the NXT ones on Sundays. They moved it to Saturday. Because I feel like the NXT one had been staying on Sundays.
Yeah.
But now, this one's on Saturday. So that is
I'm gonna have to double check on that.
That's live at 7. That's live at 7 this week. So it'll be going right into Rampage time, to Collision time. It'll probably end. Yeah.
Scott, thank you for telling me that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to double check and see if we do have a Collision.
Yeah. But yes, but on my own personal channel on JPJ Loves Gaming on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube, we are doing WWE watch-alongs. I know this is an AEW show, but if you are one of those wrestling fans like me that just watches both and has a fun time watching both and isn't shitty, you can come watch the watch-alongs on Monday nights. I'm with my buddy Matt. Ophelia, big friend of the show. She joins me on Tuesdays for NXT, and then Fridays is kind of open house call. Kind of see who's around, see who we can get in for SmackDown. But I have Matt, the franchise, Emperor Matt on socials. He's with me every Monday. Ophelia's with me. Peggy is with me every Tuesday. And then we'll have some friends on Fridays. Going to try to be doing pay-per-views. I don't know if we're going to start with Deadline. I'm thinking maybe we'll start with, the next pay-per-view, not World's End, because I'm not doing AEW. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be around for Deadline because it kind of came up quick here. But we're going to be doing watch-alongs on my channel. So come have fun and watch WWE with us. It should be a good time. Hopefully I can get Drew to pop on a show here or there if he's available. So Pluggo will be there. Drew will be, Josh, our pal Josh Robinson will pop in. It's going to be an eclectic group of my closest friends that I want to talk wrestling with. So yeah, follow us there. Do that thing there. Just follow us here at Love Wrestling. We got the brunch gimmick every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. We've already told you the things that we do here. Quizplex once a month for raising money for charity and a fun wrestling pub trivia show. A blast. For Exposure, if you're into independent wrestling, my man Pluggo has a show with Blair, Grainmaker. For Exposure for your independent wrestling needs. There's more than that. But those are just some of the highlights that we do. I'm not even talking about the excellent independent wrestling show that we put on every month, not in December for the holiday, but every month here at Love Wrestling. I'm not even talking about that stuff, and that's worth admission alone. So do your thing, be smart, follow us, follow Love Wrestling. We're just getting bigger and bigger, y'all. 2025 is going to be bigger than 2024 was, I promise you. So Appreciate y'all in the chat. All our new friends in the chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate the people that have been here from the get-go. Drew and I will see you next Tuesday. We'll see you next Tuesday for Firmly WWE. I will see you all later on tonight, just 8 hours from now, 8 p.m. between two beards. We're talking New Day. We got to talk New Day. We're talking a bunch of stuff. AEW, New Day, all that stuff. So thank you all for being here. We appreciate you an absolute ton. And until next time, oh boy, I'm still heartbroken over. I'm not over it yet. Until next time, you know the drill. Peace out.